At 17, I walked into my own birthday dinner and realized I was a guest at a table that used to be mine. The dining room still smelled like my favorite. Cedarwood candles and roasted garlic. There were 12 seats, 11 of them filled. One was empty, but not for me. That seat belonged to Chloe now, my cousin younger than me, newer than me, better than me. According to my mother, I stood at the edge of the room waiting for anyone to say happy birthday. No one looked up, not until Chloe waved, confused. "Oh, you're here," my mother glanced over, not warmly, not with guilt, just calculation. "I didn't think you'd come," she said flatly. "This wasn't really meant for you." My voice came out, steadier than I expected. "Why is she sitting in my place?" My brother Marcus didn't even pause his fork. "You're not on the board, Nora. Haven't been for a year." Dad updated well, you should have read your emails. I blinked. "What will?" Silence. Chloe reached for the bread basket, avoiding my gaze. My mother didn't answer. Instead, she poured herself a glass of wine and said, "Let's not ruin the evening." I walked out, still wearing the gold bracelet Dad gave me when I was 13. The one engraved Legacy First. I didn't cry. I opened my laptop that night and tried logging into the family trust portal. Invalid user. My own name didn't work anymore. And in that moment, I realized they weren't ignoring me. They had erased me. 9 years later, I wasn't planning to go home, not for the holidays, not for my mother's birthday, not for anything. I was folding napkins at the back of a banquet hall in Boston halfway through a double shift when my phone buzzed. Subject: Bellamy Foundation Gala. Final confirmations. I almost deleted it, but something in me, muscle memory maybe, opened it. The sender was danielabellamiris.org. I hadn't seen that domain in years, not since I was still on the list. I scrolled, attached a glossy event flyer. 3 tiers of headshot, all smiles, at sea of last names I used to call family. And their second row center was Chloe, wearing the navy dress my mother used to wear at galas honoring Chloe Bellamy, future director, youth legacy programs. Underneath her quote, "Our family believes in shaping leaders through unity and tradition." Unity, tradition. Choked on a laugh. My name wasn't on the list, of course, not as a guest, not as a legacy, but in the email footer where they listed previous contacts was something strange. Nora B. archived. Mailing list. Someone had checked the wrong box. Someone had left a door open. Hit print, folded. The flyer, slipped it in my bag like evidence, and that night, opened a file I hadn't touched in years. Screenshots, contracts, clauses, names. One folder labeled what they forgot inside. I found something even better than proof: an unsigned clause from my grandmother's trust with my name still intact. They erased me from the party, but they forgot to erase me from the power. I sat on the edge of my bed, still in my catering uniform, still holding that printed flyer like it owed me something it didn't. Neither did they. For years, I told myself I was done. Looking back, that they'd made their choice and I had made mine: survival, independence, silence, but the flyer wouldn't let go. Chloe's smile burned through the paper, like it knew. I opened the manila folder I kept under my mattress. My roommate once asked if it was old tax returns, not quite inside. Digital printouts, scribbled notes, screenshots of trust documents. Before they blocked my login, a photo of me and my grandmother, the last woman who actually said my name without flinching, and then a letter. It was addressed to Miss Nora Bellamy from Bellamy Legal Office, dated 8 years ago. Unopened. I tore the envelope open with shaking hands. Inside, a draft amendment to the trust. There were 2 versions, one with my name crossed out and one where it wasn't stamped, not finalized. I should have closed the folder. I should have gone to sleep, but my phone buzzed. Unknown number. They're going to name Chloe as heir at the gala. Your name's still buried in the paperwork. Figured you deserved a chance to speak before they bury that too. JB stared at the screen. Jabe, I hadn't heard that name since I was 17. Jeffrey Barnes, the family's former accountant, fired the same year I vanished, and just like that, the silence cracked. They thought they buried me in paperwork. They forgot some. Ghosts keep receipts. I arrived in Vermont at sunrise, the kind of sunrise that used to mean something: family ski trips, Christmas cards. Legacy now, just cold light through a cracked windshield and an Airbnb host who left the key under a rock. I didn't tell anyone I was coming. I didn't have to. The land remembered me, even if the people tried not to, instead of going straight to the hotel where the gala was being held. I drove to a small cottage on the edge of Bellamy Lake, my grandmother's cottage. Technically, it belonged to the foundation now, but no one touched it, not since her funeral. They couldn't sell it. She'd put one strange clause in her will: "This house shall remain untouched unless opened by someone who knows where the photo frame is." Cracked. I did. It was in the hallway, second from the left, just above the old mirror. A photo of us. I was 8, holding her hand, wearing her pearls. The frame had a split in the back, and behind it, taped neatly, was a folded note: "If you're reading this, they've tried to erase you, but you are still a Bellamy, and they don't get to decide who holds this name." Tucked inside a small brass key and an original copy of the Bellamy Trust, the one before all the edits, my name was there, bold, legal, intact. Nora Elise Bellamy, direct line, second beneficiary. They thought I forgot who I was. They didn't expect I'd return. To the only person who never asked me to prove it, they didn't expect the paper trail she left behind, and they sure as hell didn't expect me to remember where. It started, I didn't want a new dress. I wanted the dress, the one my mother wore. When she cut the ribbon on the Bellamy Foundation's first building, the one I remembered from the newspaper clipping that used to hang in my childhood room before they replaced it with Chloe's. Photos, midnight, navy floor-length modest, neckline power stitched into every seam. I found it at a high-end vintage consignment in town. The owner gasped. When I pulled it from the back rack, oh, this is one of the originals. It belonged to the Bellamy family. I smiled. Soft. Yeah, I know I didn't correct her when she said it used to be Chloe's grandmother's dress, because technically it was mine now. I rented a room at a small inn 2 blocks from the gala venue, didn't bother with valet or red carpet treatment. I wasn't walking in. Through the front, I called in a favor. Makeup artist I'd once served wine to at a Boston fundraiser she owed me. She made me look like memory, not modern, not trendy, but recognizable like a photo frame someone shoved in a drawer but couldn't bring themselves to throw away. Before leaving, I tucked 2 things into my clutch: a printed copy of the trust clause with my name, a folded note from my grandmother. Then I looked in the mirror, not to admire myself, but to say goodbye to the version of me that thought silence was safer tonight. I wasn't coming for an apology. I was coming for the microphone. I walked into the Bellamy Foundation gala at 7:41 p.m., not through the front, through the staff entrance. A waiter held the door. He didn't ask for a name. He just looked at me like he was sure I belonged somewhere important. He just couldn't remember where. That was the point. The ballroom was a polished like crystal chandeliers, gold trim on white linen, guests sipping champagne and complimenting each other's legacies. I floated between tables like smoke, no name tag, no seat assignment, but eyes followed. A few people squinted like they were trying to place me, maybe from school, maybe from a newspaper years ago. At the welcome table, I picked up a gala program. I flipped it open. 3 pages of honorees. Chloe had a full column rising. Leader, mentor, inherited vision. I wasn't there, of course not then. I noticed the legacy wall. A hallway lined with framed photos of 3 generations of Bellamy's, founders, donors, family. Portraits walked it slowly, row after row. My mother as a young woman, my siblings, Chloe in her prep school uniform, then saw it. One frame hung slightly crooked. The brass plaque read Bellamy Children, 2009 Family Day, but the photo inside was wrong. Too much white space on the left. I looked closer. Whoever updated it had cropped me out. The original still faintly visible through the backing. Glass, and behind the frame, tucked loosely, was the real photo. The whole photo, me in the center, but someone had taken a red pen and drawn an X through my face. I didn't cry. I took a picture of it and slipped the USB into the AV laptop behind the curtain. If they wanted to erase me from the program, I'd just write my own chapter. They say every gala has a moment. Mine started at 8:19 p.m. Chloe had just stepped onto the stage, draped in white satin, and the family's attention applause rippled across the ballroom like polite thunder. The MC leaned into the mic. Tonight we honor a new generation, a woman of grace, vision, and the Bellamy name in full. The lights dimmed for the presentation reel, except that wasn't the reel they expected. Instead of Chloe's curated montage, the screens flickered, then turned black. A voice filled the room, mine, clear, calm, undeniable. Some of you know me, some of you were told to forget me. Heads turned. Some gasped, others just stared. My name is Nora Elise Bellamy. Was born into this family. I was raised in this room. I ate at that table, wore that bracelet, earned that scholarship. And then I was erased. Behind me on screen, the old family photo appeared, unedited, me dead center, smiling alive, followed by the version they replaced it with cropped, redacted murmurs is rippled. Then came the trust document, my name, my legal status, uncrossed, valid still. Binding, I stepped onto the side of the stage, spotlight catching the navy blue of my dress, my mother's dress. You cannot erase someone and still keep their legacy. You cannot silence a child and call it unity. You cannot fake tradition. On top of a broken truth, someone in the crowd clapped, then another. Chloe stood, frozen, her note cards trembling. My mother sat stiff white, knuckling her glass in me. I didn't wait for permission. I just said what I came to say. I'm not here to take anything. I'm here to remind you it was mine all along. Silence isn't always empty. Sometimes it's louder than applause. That's what filled the ballroom after I spoke. No one moved, no one clinked to glass. No polite laugh or fake cough to reset the mood. Until my mother stood, she didn't rush. She glided like she was still in control of the narrative, like the story hadn't just been ripped from her hands. She stepped up beside Chloe, one hand on the podium, the other on her pearls. Nora, sweetheart, she said, voice velveted and brittle. This isn't the place I met her. Eyes. Then where has the place been all these years? She pressed her lips into a practiced smile. We can talk. After the event, let's not make a scene. You already did, I said, you just weren't, expecting me to show up in it. Behind us, the screen still showed the document. The clause with my name legal stamped. Undeniable then came the sound, no one. Expected a chair scraped. A man stood in. The back, Jeffrey Barnes, JB former. Accountant exiled when he asked too many questions. He held up a folder. The Foundation's books don't lie, but people do. And I've kept copies my mother palled. Chloe snapped. This is slander. She's just here for attention. I didn't flinch. I'm here for truth. Attention just followed. It and a woman near the front stood up. Then a man near the doors, and then, finally, someone started clapping again. But it wasn't for Chloe this time. It wasn't for legacy. It was for justice, and justice didn't come with hugs and handshakes. It came with files with names with, wait, not an apology, a gavel. The morning after the gala, my phone rang 4 times before I'd even poured my coffee. Unknown number. Voicemail. Repeat by noon, I had 11 missed calls. 9 were from my mother, the first. Voicemail started polite. Nora, it's your mother. Let's not let last night get out of hand. The next, you don't understand the pressure we were under. Your father, he thought it was best for everyone. The 6th message cracked. You're not the only one who was hurt. You know I didn't reply. My sister Sarah sent a message. Instead, no greeting, no explanation, just a PDF. Attachment cease and desist. Apparently reclaiming your name is now grounds for defamation, Chloe. She skipped the legal route. She took to Instagram a photo of her in a stark white suit captioned, "Legacy isn't stolen, it's earned, we rise. We don't beg. Bellamy, strong." Thousands of likes. One very strategic comment pinned, "Funny how some people show up only when there's money involved." That one from my cousin Ethan, but none of it mattered. Because 24 hours later, an anonymous folder appeared on a public drivelly Bellamy gala. Internal inside email. Threads expense reports grant ruings. Chloe's signature on invoices tied to creative development consultants who didn't exist. Someone had leaked the skeletons, and it wasn't me, Jeffrey. Barnes or someone like him had lit the match. I didn't need to fight. I just needed to stand still and let their own fire find oxygen. And in the background, my mother's 12th voicemail. Please, Nora. They're talking investigation. You can stop this. I pressed play, then delete. When I was 17, I used to scribble my name in notebooks just to remember it was mine, Nora Elise. Bellamy, not that girl. Not the one we don't talk about, not a line to be deleted in red. Pen just me. 9 years later, I trademarked it the Nora Fund, not Bellamy, not in partnership with just Nora. A nonprofit for young women erased by their own families, kicked out, cut off, or conveniently forgotten. The website went live exactly 1 week after the gala. I didn't take their board seat, didn't respond to the press release they issued claiming the Bellamy family is undergoing internal realignment, didn't respond to the message from the family lawyer offering a revised trust. I didn't want the seat I wanted. The silence that followed my name to finally feel like power, not punishment. I took the key from my grandmother's cottage, hung it on a chain. Around my neck, I bought the property back, not as a Bellamy heir, but as a private citizen. Then I posted a single photo on the Nora Fund's homepage. A gold bracelet, the one my father gave me when I was 13, engraved legacy first. Underneath it, I wrote, some legacies are built with silence, others are reclaimed with fire. No comments, no hashtags, no faces, just the words, because names can be taken. But identity that's earned, and I didn't earn mine by being polite. I earned it by surviving the erasure and spelling it out louder than they ever thought I would. A month after the gala, the Bellamy Foundation unveiled a new logo. No press release mentioned my name. No apology. Just rebranding. Realignment was their word of choice. Chloe quietly stepped down. No scandal, just personal refocusing. My mother gave an exclusive interview to the Vermont Legacy Tribune. She wore pale blue, sat in her formal living room, and said with a trembling smile, family is complicated, but we're healing. We've always been a family that heals. Didn't correct her. I didn't release a statement. I didn't need to. I was already gone, not hidden, not erased, just beyond reach. They could keep the Bellamy name. Zemidi di Saim. I had no interest in sharing a label with people who wore it like armor while sharpening knives behind it. My name, Nora, meant something again, and it meant more. Without them, gave my grandmother's pearls to a girl named Jada, scholarship recipient from the first round of the Nora Fund. She called me Miss Bellamy. I smiled, shook my head. Just Nora. That's what they never understood. I didn't want the throne, didn't need their seat at the table, didn't care about applause in marble rooms or handshakes from ghosts. I just wanted my voice back. And now that I had it, I didn't need to shout. I could whisper, and the walls would still remember. The gala faded, nameplate changed. The press moved on, but silence stayed, not the kind they used to punish me, the kind I chose. Some nights I still wake up thinking I'm seeing that if I knock on the kitchen door, someone will answer, but they don't, and that's okay because I no longer need the door to be open. I built another one last week. I gave a talk at a local university, not a grand TED stage, just a modest auditorium with folding chairs, and girls who took notes like their lives depended on it. One raised her hand, nervous, bright. How did you forgive them? I paused, then I told the truth. I didn't. I just stopped asking them to explain who I am. That was always the problem. Was too loud to be obedient, too quiet to be listened to, too inconvenient to keep around. So they told a story where I didn't exist, and I let them for a while. But silence has an expiration date, and mine came dressed in navy blue, standing beneath a chandelier holding a document they thought would stay buried. They called me bitter. Then they called me bold, but they never called me by my name. Not until I forced them to read it aloud. So here it is. My name is Nora Elise Bellamy, and this was the final word. They never thought I'd speak. They erased me, so I returned with the final word.